Good morning, students. This is the second revision video of the chapter Electoral Politics, and this video has been made for class 9th. Now, in this particular video, we will try to understand the system of elections. So far, we discussed that why democracy is very important and why elections are very important part of democracy, and we discussed about the electoral politics. So let us discuss about the electoral politics and system of elections. Now, first of all, we need to understand what is our system of election. We all know that Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha elections, we are well familiar with these terms, Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha elections, and they are held at the interval of every 5 years. The Lok Sabha election is also known as general election, and there are certain elections that are conducted in a particular constituency owing to the death or resignation of a member. They are called the by-elections. So, in case if any particular MP or MLA will die in between or before completing his term, then that seat will remain vacant. So, for that seat, election is conducted, and that election is termed as by-election. So, we need to understand whole system of election. So, superficially it may look that election is a one-day process, but if we are going to analyze it, we will find that it is a complete system. Like we have different planets in the solar system. So if we are going to talk about the system of election, there are various steps, there are various important steps involved in the election system. So let us discuss one by one all the important steps. So first of all, we are going to talk about the constituency, electoral constituency. The country is divided into electoral constituency for both the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha, that is Legislative Assembly elections. One representative is elected from each constituency by the voters. So we need to understand that in our country, the whole country is divided into 543 constituency for the Lok Sabha elections, and from here the candidates are going to stand in the election, and the candidate which is going to get selected from a particular constituency is termed as Member of Parliament or MP. Similarly, each state is also divided into a number of assembly constituencies, and the representatives are elected from each constituency is called the Member of Legislative Assembly or MLA. So we need to understand here, if we are going to talk about the Lok Sabha election, the whole country is divided into 543 parts, small parts, and those small parts are known as constituency. So from each small part, different political parties are going to contest the election. They are going to face competition, and after that, we people generally choose the best candidate, the best suitable candidate from that particular constituency, from that particular seat. So this is how the candidate is going to get elected from that constituency. Now, for Lok Sabha election, the country is divided into 543 constituencies. So we already discussed that the whole country is divided into 543 small parts, and that are termed as constituency. The representative elected from each constituency is called the Member of Parliament or an MP. So we already discussed here that whole country will be divided into small pieces, into small parts, and each part will be termed as the constituency, and from each constituency only one candidate would be elected, the candidate which will get maximum votes from that area, he will become MP from that area. So this is all about the word constituency. So this is the first step that we need to understand before realizing the system of election. Now come to the next point, or come to the next step, that is the nomination of candidate. Generally in the election, candidates are going to contest in the election. So question is, who will nominate them? How they will get nominated? So what is the minimum criteria? So minimum criteria is 25 years, and there are restrictions on people with criminal records, but those are extreme cases. The candidates has to fill a nomination form and give a security deposit. Generally, you have to deposit some security money in order to tell that that particular candidate is a serious candidate. Also, a legal declaration has to be made with details of pending criminal cases against the candidate, assets and liabilities of the candidates, and the educational qualification of the candidate. All these are tabled before the Election Commission of India, and these are termed as affidavits. So generally, it is on the instruction of Supreme Court. Now, all the political parties give this information, and after that, this information is publicized so that public may decide which is the right candidate, which is the suitable candidate for the seats. Now, so we need to understand here that this is The nomination process is very important. Any candidate which wants to contest the election, he will need to file a nomination, and after that he will be elected. Now come to the next point, that is the election campaign. This is the most crucial or the most important part of the election, because through this system only, through this campaign only, the candidate will get elected. He'll be elected, or it depends on the success of campaign only, the person will get success. Election campaign in India takes place for 2 weeks. Generally the 2 weeks time is given, starting from the declaration of the final list of a candidate contesting the election and concluding 48 hours before the date of polling. So generally it is going to conclude and before 48 hours before the actual election. So during this campaign, candidates reach out to the voters. Political leaders hold election meetings and rallies for informing the voters about their policies and persuading them to vote for them. The main purpose of election is to give people chance to choose the representative, the government and policies they prefer. So we need to understand here that election campaign is the most important part of election, because here only the candidates may reach the public. They are generally moving and persuading the public to vote for them, to vote for their political party. And nowadays different techniques, different methods have been adopted by different political parties. Like they are using the social media, they are using the messaging system, they are using different internet medium, different platform to attract voters. So this is how they will pursue it. So this is the only time in which the chances are in the hand of political parties or the candidates to get in touch with the ordinary public, or to convince them for voting them, for casting their valuable votes. So we need to understand, and here during this election, during this particular campaign, certain slogans have become very important. Like Indira Gandhi time, in Indira Gandhi time there was a slogan Garibi Hatao, used by Congress party by Indira Gandhi 1971. Similarly used by Janata Dal party. One more slogan was there, Save Democracy, because at the time internal disturbance was declared and finally emergency was imposed in the country. And after that, land to the tiller, used by the left front in the West Bengal. After that, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. So all these successful slogans has been able to draw the candidates or the voters towards the candidates. So in the election campaign, no political party candidate can bribe or threaten the voters. So as we already discussed, that code of conduct is declared by the Election Commission of India. So during the election or even during the whole process, during the campaign, no political party can bribe or threaten the voters, influence the voters in the name of religion, use government resources for campaigning, and expend more than 25 lakh for the Lok Sabha and 10 lakh for the assembly election. But we all know that these are only things that are written on the paper. But generally, if these rules are violated, of course the provision of punishment is there, but hardly any political party or candidate is getting any particular type of punishment. So this is the wrong trend that has been set. Now come to the next one, that is the polling and counting of votes. So we need to understand, this is the most crucial part, this is the most important part of the voting system. Here polling, the election, if we're going to talk about election, then it is the, if we're going to tell about election, it is the polling system. So here a person with his name on the voter a list can go to a polling booth, can get identified by the officials, get the mark on his finger and cast the vote for the candidates of his choice. So we need to understand here that under the polling system, or on that particular polling date, the right candidate will go and he will vote to the right, voters will vote for the right candidate. Agents of the candidates are permitted to be seated inside the polling booth for ensuring that a fair voting takes place. So here it is very interesting to understand that different representatives of the different political parties are sitting. Generally they sit inside the polling booth so that they could see that elections may held in a very positive and in a very fair manner. Electronic voting machines are used for casting votes instead of the ballot paper. Nowadays electronic voting machine has been equipped with the one more technique, that is VVPAT, and so that election can be ensured in a very fair manner. So this is all about the system of election. So what we discussed today that system of election, how the system of election takes place. And election is not about only one day process, it is the whole cumbersome process that starts from the selecting of or bifurcating of constituency and till the last, the declaration of result. So this is all about in this video. Thank you so much.